Party, written by David Kirk. And as you're watching this video, don't forget that I'm always going to put a little author tag and a link to his website or her website when you see these. So let's see what happens at the tea party. One lonely spider sipped her tea while gazing at the sky. She watched the insects on the leaves and many flying by. If I had friends like these, she sighed, who'd stay a while with me, I'd sit them down on silken chairs and serve them cakes and tea. Two timid beetles, Ike and May, kept from the woodwork that same day. But when Miss Spider begged, "Please stay," they shrieked, "Oh no!" And they dashed away. Oh, poor Miss Spider. 3 fireflies flew inside that night, their spirits high, their tails alight. They spied the web and squeaked in fear, "We'd better get away from here." The little trio did not feel they'd care to be a spider's meal. And how is a spider different than a firefly? Is there another name for a firefly? 4 bumblebees buzzed by outside. "Please come to tea," Miss Spider cried. The 4 ignored her swaying there. She waved a tea towel in the air. She took a cup and tapped the glass, and one bee spoke to her at last. "We would be fools to take our tea with anyone so spidery." So what insects have we seen so far? And how are insects different than Miss Spider? She's an arachnid. So how's an arachnid different than insects? Within the shadows of the room, just peeking from behind a broom, 5 grinning faces bobbed and peered. Miss Spider smiled, her heart was cheered. Descending for a closer look, she danced into the gloomy nook, but sadly found those jolly mugs belonged, alas, to rubber bugs. Look, she was all excited, and they're fake rubber bugs. Some ants strode in, they numbered 6, but ants with spiders they will not mix. She brewed them tea from hips of roses, and the proud platoon turned up their noses. A fine bouquet concealed its prize of 7 dainty butterflies. Miss Spider, watching from the wall, was not aware of them at all. Look at those little pretty butterflies. The tea table was set for 8, with saucers, cups, and silver plate. The cakes were fresh, the service gleamed, yet no one would arrive, it seemed. Her company, in no demand, left her cup for every hand. Poor Miss Spider's all alone. No one showed up to be at her party with her. 9 spotted moths kept safe and warm in shelter from a thunderstorm. They stood beneath an open sash and watched the jagged lightning flash. Miss Spider dropped down on a thread, a silver tray above her head. She'd hoped to please them, but instead... they flew away in mortal dread. What does that mean? What does mortal dread mean? It means they were scared she was going to eat them. That's what was wrong. "They've left me all alone," she cried. She dabbed her eyes and sadly sighed. "It's plain no bug will ever stay." Her tears splashed down upon the tray. Poor Miss Spider. 10 tiny steaming cups of tea were perched atop her trembling knee. She sipped and sobbed and heard a cough and turned to see a small wet moth, a fragile thing so soaked by rain, his wings too damp to fly again. Oh no. What do you think that moth is thinking right now? She smiled and took a checkered cloth to cloak the frail and thankful moth. They talked and snacked on tea and pie until his tiny wings were dry. Then lifting him with tender care, she tossed him gently in the air. Do you think that's what she thought was going to happen? Do you think that little moth thought that she was going to take care of him? Or that she was going to eat him? The moth told Ike, then Ike told May, who went from bug to bug to say, there is no reason for alarm. She's never meant us any harm. So later on that afternoon, assembled in the dining room, 11 insects came to tea to share Miss Spider's courtesy. Look at how happy she is with all her friends at the tea party. 12 tender violets in a vase presented at Miss Spider's place. Set by her chair so neatly spun, she munched the blossoms one by one. Her friends were glad to watch her feast upon the floral centerpiece. It was a great relief to see she ate just flowers and drank just tea. Miss Spider's reputation grew. Before too long our hostess knew each bug who hopped or crawled or flew, and all their lovely children too. So, did this turn out the way the other insects thought it would? I don't think it did. Instead, now Miss Spider is friends with lots of people. So there's several lessons that go along with this one. So I'm going to work on those today and upload them as I get them done. Have a great day. Alright, so now we're going to draw her teacup. And you can make your teacup look any way you want. So we're going to start by the top. And we're going to draw an oval at the top of our page. And we're going to come down below it. And we're going to draw an upside down rainbow like that. So see right there, so on the bottom we got the rainbow or a U shape, the top we have our oval, and now I'm going to be fancy as I connect them. So I'm just going to curve in and back. Now if you don't want to be as fancy, if you just want to go straight down to them, if you wanted two parallel lines like you were doing a cylinder for a coffee mug, you could do that as well. But since it's a teacup, I thought I'd make mine just a little bit fancier. Down here on the bottom, we're going to put those two curved lines so we can create a foot for our teacup. And then we're going to curve it back. By using curves, we're going to make this look three-dimensional. Now, if I wanted to, this could be an easy vase, but we're going to turn it into our teacup. So the way I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and I'm going to give that weird curve out and back like ear shape. So it starts like a rainbow on top, and then it curves back and down. And I'm going to do that again. So there we go. So we got our teacup, and now we're going to put it on a plate, right? Because that would, finish it off. So we're going to come up some, curve back, and wrap it around, almost like it's sitting on a saucer. And I'm going to put another circle or oval shape inside of there. Now I want it to be on a table, just like I did before. So I'm going to come halfway through and go straight across. And then I want to make this separated a little bit more than I did with my teapot picture. So I'm going to put another horizontal line. So now that we really have two sections. We have this section and we have this section. If you want to put tea or coffee in your cup, you could. And if you want to put steam, you could draw steam coming out of your cup. I like to curve things, so I'm going to put curved lines here because I don't want this to look flat. I want it to look more three-dimensional. If you're in 5th grade, we did coffee mugs, so this is very similar to us doing coffee mugs. And I told them I don't like all my coffee mugs to match, and when I go thrift storing, I'm always looking for a cup or a saucer that looks different from everything else that we already have. So as you all know, Miss Friend's all about some patterns. So go through and fill your section in with different patterns. So I've gone all the way around. There's my plate, and then my cup. And I need to do my background too. So before I had vertical lines in my background, I think this time I'm going to put some polka dots. Make sure when you draw a pattern that it repeats itself at least 3 times and it fills in a space. And as an artist, you want to make sure you touch every edge of your paper to keep it interesting. Remember, our drawing expectations are to draw big, to fill up the page, to draw light until you get it right. I'm drawing with a Sharpie so you can see it, but you should be drawing with a pencil. And when it's time to color, make sure you color slow, color dark, fill up the whole page, don't scribble. Don't forget when you're drawing to use shapes. I think now on my cup itself I need a design. I'm going to put a rainbow. I haven't done a rainbow in a while. So a rainbow has 6 colors in our basic rainbow. So that means I'm going to need 7 curved lines. So I'm going to start here with number 1. Always starting on the outside. No, we start on the inside if we're drawing it. But I'm going to go ahead and start on the outside. I think that's a mistake lots of people make, is we tend to draw from the outside in. We should be drawing it from the inside out. At least that's what I teach my kindergartners. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lines on my rainbow coffee mug. Put some clouds in the sky. Now your job is to decide, are you going to put a tablecloth or are you going to leave it blank? I think I'm just going to paint my tablecloth one color this time since I have so many patterns on my teacup. So there's lesson number 2. Lesson number 1 was the teapot. Lesson number 2 is the teacup. Stay tuned for the next one.